Jared Scott, and I've been cider maker for Teal Cider, based out of Dolores, Colorado, and Fence Line Cider, based out of Mancos, Colorado, and we're starting the company San Juan Cider Company.
And I'm Elizabeth Philbrick, and I bring the business experience to this group. Nielsen study already shows that the highest rising market for cider in the country are millennials with high incomes. And they've increased their cider consumption ninefold in the last 9 years. And the market has become so lucrative and so productive that the big boys have entered into the market. So Miller has gotten involved, InBev has gotten involved, but interestingly enough, the cider that is being made by beer makers is the least appreciated cider. Even though they have a 53% margin of the market, their cut of the market is decreasing specifically because the millennial population really wants that craft cider. We are looking to revive the orcharding culture of the region. Montezuma County, La Plata area has had a significant history with apples. And many of these orchards are 80 to 100 years old, which means they're pre-prohibition. Very few of these orchards were removed because there was no economic disadvantage to removing those orchards. So we are one of the few regions in the entire country that has the ability to make hard cider from cider apples without having to plant them.
So the orchards, especially in the Mancos area, are 120 years old. And one thing that's I've noticed this past harvest season is that those orchards are very diverse with various different apples. A lot of them are not good for eating. Your traditional apple today, your modern apple, is made for eating. Especially after Prohibition, a lot of the orchards were cut down, they were destroyed, or they were replanted or regrafted with your modern day dessert apple. And I would pick them and I would press them and I would do a chemistry analysis on it, measure the acids, the pH, the sugars, and some of the apples would press super clear, which is a very common trait for English or French style cider apples. And we have them right here in our backyards. A lot of other cider companies that have newly formed in the past few years are looking for these apples, and we have them here in Montezuma County and in La Plata County ready to go. And part of my mission is to find those apples and bring them back to their intended purpose, which is to make delicious hard cider.
Cider happens to be a very lucrative way to use apples. There aren't a lot of lucrative ways to use not shiny fruit apples. If it's not a Red Delicious, most places don't want to buy it, and most of the apples in this region are not fancy fruit.
In the recent past, there was a juice company called Mountain Sun Juice Company, and I was fortunate to live next door to the couple that founded that company, and I learned a lot from them. And they were able to take the existing orchards and make, at the time, the world's largest organic juice company. And so it's been done in the past, and I'd like to do that again, because the apples are still here. We don't need to plant them. We don't need to wait 5 years or 10 years to get the fruit. The fruit's there.
And most of these orchards have been producing fruit without care. So it's not like there's a lot of inputs that are required in order to be able to get out the only ingredient necessary to make cider. Unlike beer, cider has the ability to be made completely within region.
Well, we have a 3-tier approach towards making money. A lot of it depends on the traditional way in the alcohol industry of making an alcoholic beverage and selling it. So the first thing we would like to do is set up a production facility in the region, hopefully in Durango, because that's where a lot of the people are and it's where a lot of tourists come. And so we'd like to set up a production facility and then also have a tasting room on site. And the advantage of having the production and the tasting room is that you can see where it's being made. You can see the workers in the back making cider. You can bring your guests in and show them and give them tours of the facility.
Just like a winery.
And the other advantage of having a tasting room is it's direct retail sales. And it's the most bang for your buck in terms of making money, because the only overhead you really have is making the cider and then also paying the employees to serve it. And the second tier that we're going to use is, and it's another traditional form, is wholesaling. And one of the advantages is that we're going to establish ourselves as a limited winery, and we are able to do retail sales, production, and also do wholesaling, which other liquor licenses such as breweries are unable to do. And so we can wholesale. The advantage to wholesaling is it allows you to enter markets outside the region that are not in the local region. So we definitely want to be in every liquor store and bars and restaurants from Pagosa Springs to Telluride within the first year. And we'd also like to enter the Front Range market, where there's millions of people who are there and available who love cider, because there's a lot of cideries now that are popping up in the Front Range.
It's increased ninefold. Drinking cider has increased ninefold since 2010.
And then, so all with the first year, we want to be from Pagosa to Telluride and then also on the Front Range through wholesales. The disadvantage to wholesaling is that you add a middleman to the component. So we can either do direct wholesaling or we can hire someone to do it. And most likely in the Front Range, we'll have to hire somebody to do it, but they take a percentage of your sales. And also the retail shops, liquor stores, bars, restaurants also take a cut of the sales. So it's a traditional form, but it's not ideal for a small producer as we will be. And by small, I mean that we're going to be under 100,000 gallons. So eventually we may get up higher gallons. But in the first year, we're looking to produce no more than 10,000 gallons and then go from there.
Keeping the quality high.
Yep.
Paying very close attention to the quality.
The final tier of how we're going to make money is I'm going to piggyback off some models of other cider companies in the Northeast, and they seem to be pretty successful with direct online sales to customers. And the advantage of doing online sales, it takes a little bit of time to establish yourself into that market. It'll require quite a bit of marketing, but the advantage is you're shipping directly to cider connoisseurs, people who know and love cider, who will taste our product and just want more of it.
So if you think about the traditional model of a winery, you step in, you have a couple of sips of a variety of different wines. You love it. They sign you up for that subscription package where 3 to 6 bottles get sent to you every month. That's the break-in. It is not a brand new model. It is a very successful model. There are several cideries in particular that have done extremely well with this, and there are a variety of online sites where you can peruse high-end ciders and buy just like you would wine online. We have a lot of experience. Jared has experience making cider, beautiful cider. I have business experience. Once upon a time, I ran an organization that had 70 plus employees, and we were retail. I doubled the profits of that company within 5 years. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we're going from farmers to distributors here in town. And part of that is the network. And we can go network in all the business meetings in town. SCAPE gives us the opportunity to start off on the right foot. We know what we're doing. The business model is up and running. The LLC is formed. We're good to go. It would make it exponentially easier. Plus, we would love for everyone to be a part of it.
We're experienced, we're ready to go, we're confident. We have no hesitation to start this company, but the fact that the timing was right, that we were starting the company right when the SCAPE applications were being extended, and so that's why we're applying.
They're delicious, they're amazing. Cheers.